creating characters that people can identify with is actually what's critical, and then being able to take that person's unique cultural resonance and bring it to life.
Welcome back to our Culture Creators series by Linqia. We are live in Cannes at the Female Quotient Equality Lounge, and I am sitting with the wonderful Amy Powell. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's one of my favorite events, so I'm so happy to be here with you.
And the Female Quotient knows how to put on a good event.
It sure does, yes.
Yeah. So you're newer to your role.
Yes.
And you've been in entertainment for a very long time.
And have.
So I have all of it. I have Sony.
Yeah.
Then Paramount.
Yeah.
Then Amazon.
Yeah.
Now President of Vice Studios.
Yes.
How did you get here?
You know, I always had a real passion for entertainment, and even as a child, I would read books and watch movies and consume television at an unusual pace. And my dream was really to work in creating and producing unique stories and bringing life to people's, backgrounds and cultures from around the world. And so I've been so fortunate to do it. I consider myself incredibly lucky, and Vice was sort of the perfect brand for me to go land at right now. And I'm super excited to bring the brand to life and bring stories that ladder up to the brand to life.
Yeah. What's your primary focus now in this role? Are you still in learning mode and suck everything in?
Yes.
Or what is your priority right now?
Well, it started last week.
Listen, it's been 1 week.
I went straight to London, and I met all the people in London. And I really just wanted to learn from them about, their affiliation with the brand, what they think about the brand, what they love about the brand, what stories really resonate. It's interesting because it's the first time I've had the opportunity to create content that has a really strong vision and mission behind it. Mm. And most people, when you say, well, I'm actually interested, what do you think of when I say Vice?
I think of more, I don't know if I would say the word daring, but I think of more daring content, like not traditional safe content. Yes,
me too. And that's exactly what I love. That's so, I think of it as like unconventional and telling stories that people don't tell and telling them in an unconventional way. And I think at this phase of my life, I wanted to be daring. So it's well aligned with what I want to do. And I think there's this tendency to play it safe, both personally and professionally, and in the stories that we tell. And I think it's exciting to take big swings and take risks and tell stories that feel slightly different than what everyone else is telling.
I love that. You still do reach a large audience.
Yeah.
You do kind of have to speak to the masses.
Yes.
And this is the whole crux of culture right now, where everyone is living in their own microcosms because of algorithms and personal preferences. How do you know then what is culturally relevant to a mass audience when that's happening?
It's like the best question, actually. It is. And we were just talking about it with my team. Because there's this interesting opportunity to tell these like very niche stories about a specific sort of parochial family or character or culture. And I think the question is like, how can you take that and make it resonate and emotionally connect with people on a broader scale? It's like, how could we tell a story? I produced everything from Jack Ryan to 13 Reasons Why to, Catch-22 and period pieces and action pieces and character dramas. And it's like, what do they all have in common? At the end of the day, really, you're tuning in because you feel a connection to the character, the person, the human on the other side of the screen, whether the screen's big or small. And I think creating characters that people can identify with is actually what's critical. And then being able to take that person's unique cultural resonance and bring it to life.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's like you have to take the parochial story and then make it resonate universally, which is a challenge, but I think it's always through the lens of humans and their character traits.
I love that. Then how do you, once you kind of know what you're doing and how you want to focus on certain topics in culture, how do you then get the word out and make sure people know that this is something they can enjoy? Other than the obvious, they can discover it through their own discovery paths. How do you more outwardly market it?
Yeah. It's interesting. I think 13 Reasons Why is like a great example of that, which was based on a book that Selena Gomez owned and brought to us. So credit to her for finding it. What was interesting about that book is it tapped into this notion that we found teens were really searching about teen suicide because it was still like an unsafe topic, and maybe there was some shame attached to it or secrecy. And one of the things we realized is like when you can talk about something freely, it releases the shame around it, and then you can actually help people, right? So people felt more comfortable asking for help or having an open conversation about it. And I think there's still the same thing. Like, so if we're creating a show and maybe it is about a subculture or something that feels more niche, how can you then connect it to questions or curiosity or other groups of people who have the same interests or questions or topic that they're interested in exploring, and like bubble it up and make it safe to talk about, and I think, or interesting to talk about. And to me, that's like when you can really connect culture with scale.
I love that. Can I give you some data?
Yes, please do.
All right. 69% of consumers trust influencers, friends, and family over information coming directly from a brand.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that new reality where consumer trust from brands and corporations is at an all-time low,
Yeah.
but from individual creators, influencers, an all-time high?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's totally true. I didn't know that stat, but it doesn't surprise me. I think it comes back to people wanting authenticity, right? And I think being authentic is just being who you are. And by the way, it feels so much better to be who you are than putting on like all these different hats during the day, personally or professionally. And so, interestingly, I think people see that in characters also, right? I think we're really in tune with what feels intrinsically inauthentic. And when we're working on either a scripted show or an unscripted show, it's how can you create an intimacy with the character where you really do feel like they're exposing all of their flaws. I mean, I think that that's what works really well about a lot of influencers now is when they're not perfect.
Yep.
Right? Like perfection is so inaccessible because none of us are.
Yeah.
And I think we see that with characters in scripted shows. We see that with real humans in unscripted shows, and with creators and influencers. I think there's this incredible thing about creating like forgiveness with people about mistakes that they might have made when they can admit them, which actually sort of ties into that idea about what we were talking about with teen suicide. Is like when you can just say like, I made this mistake, I own it, I learned this from it. I think that that makes you really accessible.
Vulnerability is not a negative. Vulnerability is a big positive.
I agree.
For that, so I'm curious what you think the upfronts happened not too long ago.
Yeah.
The creators becoming the content.
Yeah.
Like you look at Amazon with Beast and everything that's going on with his show.
Yeah.
Peacock announced, I think, 3 new series with creators.
Yeah.
How do you think this is going to evolve where creators are now becoming the stars of the actual shows themselves?
Yeah. I think it's super interesting. I think also it's sort of like a monolith, right? Like creators aren't like one big group. Jimmy, Mr. Beast is obviously, you know, sort of an incredible talent. But what's interesting is I think a lot of people think that these influencers or creators just like overnight become talent, and they've worked really hard. Yeah. And I think, you know, when we were working with Jimmy and the Mr. Beast team, you realize like he's been at this since he was a tween, I guess. And the longevity and dedication and work and analysis and thoughtfulness with which he approaches his content is the same as the, you know, best of the best directors and talent I've had the privilege of working with. And so I think there's this tendency of people to sort of think, oh, they're just flash in a pan. Yeah. The truth is those of them who are really working hard and are thoughtful about, okay, this frame has to say this and the next frame needs to be that and this has to be edited in this fashion. It's like there's so much we can learn from them in terms of all types of content. And I think that's like something really profound that we all have to be like actively listening to.
Yeah. I think Alex Warren is playing tonight.
He is.
And it's another good example of someone where people go, oh, this, you know, came out of nowhere with this great song. It's like that guy was creating YouTubes. Forever ago.
Yes.
Then started the Hype House. It's a long journey that most people don't see to the path that they end up at.
Yes.
How does this then affect, though, the planning cycles, too, in the entertainment industry? You've been in it for a long time.
Yeah.
As every brand wants to hop on trends and everyone has to be culturally relevant to now, but when you produce real things, it takes time to do those things well. Yeah. How do you balance speed with quality?
Yeah, it's like the perfect question, right? You know, it's interesting. I think back, I produced a movie called Never Say Never with Justin Bieber a very long time ago. And he was one of the ones at the forefront, right? Scooter was so smart about how he used YouTube and how, you know, Justin's voice was able to travel and become so viral and build an incredible community of people who were his fans because of how they were really smart about community and fan engagement. And I think that there's something to be learned from that, right? Like how do you really thoughtfully and with a sense of tenacity build and move fast, but at the same time not lose that connection? Yeah. So when we produced that movie, we hired John Chu to direct it, who's just the greatest and had such great success with Wicked as of late and many other things. And we started shooting that movie and then released it, I think 9 months later, which is unheard of, right? Like most movies, you're still in development 9 months later. Yeah. And we did it by taking a lot of the content that his mom had shot on her phone of him as a child and his prolific talent at the age of 2 and 3 and 4. And you saw this like mixed media approach to editing the movie. The fans sent in their footage. So we had this like ability to mix lots of different content into a feature film rather than shooting one scene and then the next scene.
Oh, interesting.
So I think it's about like thinking outside the box about how you create, produce, and put together the best content that there is if speed to market's important. And sometimes I think it is really important.
Yeah. What about the frame? Because you don't design Vice style content always in a 9:16. It's a full screen,
totally
well-produced video, but we live in a social first world. So are you pushing the team, or do you think all the time, what is the social translation of this? How do we be social first, even though the content is not necessarily designed first for that place?
I think we'll have like a pretty robust content mix where we're thinking about all of the screens, right? And I think the most important thing, is a huge lesson for me coming out of Amazon actually, was like always think about the customer first, right? And like, where is the customer? Where are they? Where are you meeting them? What screen are they on? Where's their mindset at? What are they interested in? And like, how can you be really thoughtful about what they want versus what you think you want?
Yeah.
So I think we'll consider all different screens, formats, aspect ratios, content delivery based on what we're hearing from our audience.
Yeah. Audience first.
Audience first.
Okay. I want to do a rapid fire.
Okay.
Are you ready for rapid fire?
I hope so.
First, what does your For You feed look like? So if I take your phone right now,
yes,
go on your TikTok, Reels, Shorts, what am I seeing?
A frightening amount of exotic travel.
What is exotic travel?
Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
I'm really interested in going. I'm really interested in the poles. I'm really interested in visiting India. I'm really interested in all of Africa. Yes, I'm not the person you want to plan travel with, because most people want to go to, Paris or London, which I love. But I'm really excited in exploration and like seeing things. I'll never go to the same place twice. Yeah.
Okay. So you'll go to these places, not just watching it for the interest.
No, I want to like dig in.
I love
Yes.
that. Okay. This might be similar then.
Yes.
If you were a creator,
Yes.
what would your content be? What style?
It would definitely be exploration. Yeah. When I was younger, I wanted to be a journalist who sort of lived as an expat in every different area of the world. And so I would probably have a backpack on and I would be hiking in some remote location and have my camera turned to show everybody how beautiful it is. Yeah.
A aspiring journalist in exotic locations. I feel like Vice could not be a more appropriate place for you to have ended up.
I agree.
That's very funny. All right.
I agree.
What advice would you give someone starting their career in marketing right now?
I think 2 things. One, don't be afraid to take big swings. I think being risk averse is actually a liability.
Yep.
And by the way, I do understand how scary it can be to sort of let go of the side of the pool and safety. But what's exciting is like we can make mistakes, as we were just saying. And, you have to take big swings to have great impact. And even if it doesn't work the first 10 times, the 11th time it will, just stay at it. And I think tenacity is like an incredible virtue in people.
I love that. I had a mentor who once told me, make yourself uncomfortable every single day.
Yes, I agree.
And it's getting increasingly hard to do for young people who have their pocket movie theaters that they could just live within. But I think it's really, really good advice.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for all of us, right? But that is like the beauty of life, of like and then you realize, oh, it was okay, right? It always ends up okay.
And the uncomfortable moments are always the good memories and the good learnings and the good things that happen. It's never your just comfort zone that
I agree.
challenges you.
I agree.
Last thing, I don't know what you could say, a week in the job.
Yes.
But anything exciting coming out or you're working on that you could tease or talk about from a standpoint?
Well, it is brand new, but I do love the show Gangs of London that the team has done a brilliant job producing. And I'm excited to see where we can take that brand in and of itself. I think it represents all of Vice's brand equity all wrapped up in a TV show, and it's a premium execution of what originally was gaming IP, actually. So I'm excited to see how we can take that IP and hopefully build a global universe out of it.
Love it.
One of my big goals.
Well, congrats on the new job.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
very
you for
excited to
having
see what
me.
you do with this role.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
I'm excited to see your series as it continues.
Thanks.